lights low, camera on me, wave crash in the background. Welcome to the story, stay wavy with the Jab TV, with the hook, every round heavy now. Better take a good look, ring bell, gloves up, hear the bass get loud.
Good, y'all. This past weekend, we had the fight between Lamont Roach Jr. and Isaac Pitbull Cruz. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Going into this fight, I just couldn't pick a person to win this fight because I knew that the fight was going to be 50-50. And I think a lot of people underestimated Isaac Pitbull Cruz, including Lamont Roach Jr. Because Isaac Pitbull Cruz has a one-dimensional style where he pretty much moves forward and spams haymakers, people think that that means that Pitbull is trash or Pitbull is average. And that's far from true, okay? Pitbull has a very difficult style. And if you're not defensively sound, then you're going to have a very hard time beating this guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a good boxer. Now, can he improve his style? Yes, but you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, Lamont Roach Jr. going into this fight, I noticed a lot of things, right? I think because of his performance that he had against Gervonta Davis, because Gervonta Davis was unable to hurt Lamont Roach Jr. at any point when they fought, and he caused Gervonta Davis to take a knee, I think that Lamont Roach Jr. let that fight get to his head. And I think that going into this fight, Lamont Roach Jr. wanted to show people that he can't be hurt. And I think that he wanted to show people that he could knock out Isaac Pitbull Cruz. And when you're dealing with a fighter like a Isaac Pitbull Cruz, that is not what you want to do. He came into this fight playing Isaac Pitbull's game. What I mean by that is he basically fought the champion at his own style, and it caused him to get dropped, right? He got hit with a good shot. He didn't officially drop, but I guess his knee hit the mat, so it was considered a knockdown. And that hurt Lamont Roach Jr.'s ego. If you look at the fight, he was talking to the crowd. He was showboating in the ring. He was talking back and forth with Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Every time he got hit with a good shot, he was looking at the crowd and telling them, oh, that didn't hurt. And he was fighting emotional. And when you fight emotional, you increase your chances of losing. Isaac Pitbull Cruz showed that he was the bigger puncher in this fight. Isaac Pitbull Cruz showed that he has the better chin in this fight. There was no point in the fight where Isaac Pitbull Cruz noticeably got hurt by one of Lamont Roach's punches. As a matter of fact, Lamont Roach broke both of his hands on Isaac Pitbull Cruz's head. So Gervonta Tank Davis broke his hand on Isaac Pitbull Cruz's head, and Lamont Roach broke both of his hands on Isaac Pitbull Cruz's head. So at this point, we got to check if Isaac Pitbull Cruz is on Osterine. Why is this nigga's head so strong? Is this nigga's head made of steel? You know what I'm saying? They got to change Isaac. They got to change his name to Isaac Man of Steel Head Cruz. Like, this nigga's head is built like a motherfucking gumball machine. Why is niggas breaking their hands on this man's head? But the fact of the matter is this, bro. I remember at one point in the fight when a round was over, right? Lamont Roach, his dad, was screaming at him, telling him to stop playing around. Stop showboating. Stop trying to prove a point. You know what I'm saying? Go in there and box and do what you know that you're supposed to do. And when Lamont Roach started listening, he made the fight look easy. If you look at rounds, if you look at rounds 7 to 12, Lamont Roach easily was outboxing Isaac Pitbull Cruz. He was outboxing him so good that he caused Pitbull to get frustrated. And for the first time in his career, we seen Isaac Pitbull Cruz start moving backwards. We seen Isaac Pitbull Cruz start to use his jab. When I seen it, I said, this is the first time I ever seen Pitbull throw a jab. Because he was frustrated. He couldn't hit Lamont Roach. He was having a hard time closing the gap. And Roach was outboxing him, outlanding him, hitting him and making a miss. And if he would have fought like that for all 12 rounds, he would have won the fight. Probably by unanimous decision. But you're in San Antonio, right? A majority of the fans in the arena are Pitbull fans, right? Because San Antonio has a huge Mexican population, which I didn't know, by the way. Shout out to San Antonio. Shout out to the Mexicans out there. You know what I'm saying? But you got dropped. Pitbull threw more punches, even though he didn't land more punches. And he's the champion. And you can't get mad at them leaning towards the champion, because to beat the champion, you have to outwork the champion. And it didn't look like Lamont Roach Jr. outworked Pitbull Cruz. Now, did he outland Pitbull Cruz? Yes. Was he more accurate than Pitbull Cruz? Yes. But did he look more dominant than Pitbull Cruz? No, he didn't. Lamont Roach should be mad at nobody but himself. He came into this fight with the wrong game plan. He was not listening to his father until it was too late. And he caused himself to get his second draw in a row in the fight that he should have won. And listen, bro, the first judge that had Pitbull Cruz, I think, winning like 6 or 7 more rounds, that judge needs to be locked up immediately, bro. That judge doesn't know a damn thing about boxing. When I heard them announce what the first judge's score was, how biased they were towards Pitbull Cruz, that was disgusting. Get that guy the fuck up out of boxing. There's no way that you're gonna tell me that Isaac Pitbull Cruz won 6 or 7 more rounds than Lamont Roach. That's cap. There's no way you can say that. There's no way, right? The other 2 judges, they had the fight tied up to a draw. But to the people out there saying that this was a robbery, you don't know boxing. I don't care if you've been watching boxing for the last 10 years. I don't give a fuck. If you think that Lamont Roach and Pitbull was a draw, if you think that's a robbery, you don't know shit about boxing. I seen Damian Lillard say that it was a robbery. Damian Lillard, stick to basketball, my nigga. You don't know shit about boxing. You're a casual. Okay? When you have a close fight and one person wins or it's a draw, that is not a robbery. A robbery is when somebody clearly wins a fight either by majority or unanimous decision and the other person wins. If it's a fight where it's a split decision or a draw, that's not a robbery, bro. You know, it kind of reminds me of when Bivol and Betterbeef first fought, when Betterbeef won, when people were saying that was a robbery. How was it a robbery? It was a super close fight. Whether you had Bivol or Betterbeef winning 2 rounds or 3 rounds, that's not a robbery. It was a close fight. It's not a robbery. Lamont Roach Jr., you went to San Antonio, you went to enemy's territory, you're going up against the champion, you're the B side, he's the A side. You're moving up to a new weight class. You underestimated Isaac Pitbull Cruz. I saw from the first round, just looking at Lamont Roach Jr.'s body language, I said, this guy's being overconfident. He's being cocky. He doesn't realize that he's in there with a Pitbull. There's a reason why his nickname is Pitbull. He's really a Pitbull for real, bro. I think Lamont Roach Jr. thought he was going in there with a Chihuahua. He thought he was going in there with a Yorkie. Bruh, Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a dog. He's a tough fighter. And he got power in those hands. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. And a lot of people are going to say I'm crazy for saying this. But I think Isaac Pitbull Cruz punches harder than Gervonta Tank Davis. I think Gervonta Tank Davis is faster. And I think his punches are more accurate. But if we're just talking about power, I think Isaac Pitbull Cruz punches harder than Tank. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think Isaac Pitbull Cruz punches harder than Tank. So, that's my thoughts on the fight. I was very disappointed in Lamont Roach Jr. because I realized that Lamont Roach Jr.'s ego is going to be what stops him from becoming a star in the sport of boxing. This was his moment. I'm not going to say he would have became a superstar if he beat Pitbull, but if he would have beat Pitbull I would have considered Lamont Roach Jr. a star because guess what? He was already lined up to fight Shakur Stevenson next year. If he would have got past Pitbull and Shakur gets past Tio in January, guess what? Next year we get Shakur Stevenson versus Lamont Roach Jr. And if Lamont Roach Jr. somehow beats Shakur Stevenson, you're a star. You're a star. If you could somehow get the rematch with Tank after that, you're a superstar if you could beat Tank. But now you have a situation where you got another draw for the second time in a row. You broke both of your hands, right? You got dropped. Pitbull looked more dominant in the fight. You didn't dominate Pitbull. Pitbull looked more dominant than you did. And by the way, Errol Spence Jr. thinks that Isaac Pitbull Cruz won this fight. Greg, who was it? Greg, I think Greg Hackett said that he thinks that Isaac Pitbull Cruz won this fight. What's the dude's name? Gary Russell Jr. thinks that Isaac Pitbull Cruz won this fight. So to all of the Roach fans out there, you really just hate Gervonta Tank Davis. You're not a real Lamont Roach Jr. fan. Because when Lamont Roach, when it was first announced that he was fighting Tank, you guys didn't think Roach had a chance of beating Tank. You're only a fan of Roach because you don't like Tank. It's the same thing with the whole Devin Haney situation. You niggas only was fans of Brian Norman Jr. because you don't like Devin Haney. Just be honest. Boxing is a very toxic sport, bro. A lot of you dudes are just filled with hate and negativity, bro. You're not a real fan of Lamont Roach Jr. You didn't see when he fought Hector Garcia. You didn't see when he lost to Jamel Herring. You didn't see that. You just saw his fight with Tank, and you decided to start slurping and burping. Let's just call it what it is. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Lamont Roach Jr., and I heard, shout out to Cameron, right? I was watching Cam and Mace this morning, and Cameron made a very good point. Cameron said that the reason why Lamont Roach Jr. was trying so hard to knock out Pitbull is because he didn't want to leave the fight in the judge's hands, because he knew that if this fight went to a decision, that the judges aren't going to be in his best interest. But Cameron said Lamont Roach Jr. should have fought his style. He said the same thing I said. If he would have fought the entire fight how he fought the second half of the fight, by moving around and boxing and outboxing, he would have won. And I agree. So, Lamont Roach Jr., I know you're going to listen to this video. I want you to understand something, brother. I'm not against you. I'm not hating on you. I'm giving you constructive criticism. And I'm telling you what you need to hear. You may not like it. You know what I'm saying? You may not like it, bro. But I'm not saying nothing any different than what your father was telling you in the corner when you was being hard-headed. Stop boxing emotional. Stop trying to prove a point. And box smart, bro. Be logical. Don't be emotional. That's what women do. Don't be an emotional boxer. Be a logical boxer. Okay? You went on a whole interview tour off of a draw because you felt like you won. And listen, I think you beat Gervonta Tank Davis. If it makes you feel better, I wholeheartedly think that you beat Gervonta Tank Davis. But at the end of the day, bro, this is boxing. And another thing, do you think it's ironic that PBC has the most draws in boxing within the last 2 years? Mario Barrios' last 2 fights was a draw. Gervonta Davis and you just had a draw. You think that's ironic? You embarrassed, like they're the last superstar on PBC is Gervonta Tank Davis, and you made him take a knee, and everybody thinks you won the fight. So you think it's ironic that your second straight fight on PBC, where you clearly outlanded the man, like, right? You did win. I do think you won the fight. You think it's ironic that you got a draw? Nah, bro, they're protecting their fighters. Pitbull's a PBC fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're protecting their fighters, bro. Mario Barrios, 2 straight draws in a row. Lamont Roach, 2 straight draws in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a coincidence, bro. Like, this is what they do. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Roach. I don't think you should rematch Isaac Pitbull Cruz because either you're gonna lose or it's gonna be another draw, and then you're gonna have 3 draws in a row. And at that point, nobody's ever gonna take you serious again in the sport of boxing. I think you should move on. I think you should fight Frank Martin. Frank Martin just got the KO of the year. Fight Frank Martin. That's another common opponent with Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out Frank Martin. Move on. There's no need to rematch Isaac Pitbull. Move on. That's not a good. It's just not a good style for you. Because I'm gonna be honest. I think if you rematch Pitbull, I think you'll probably get knocked out. Because I just think his style is just all wrong for you. I do. Fight Frank Martin, right? Fight Gary Antoine Russell, and then move up to 147, bro. I just listen. You rematch Pitbull Cruz, you're still the B-side. So you're going to go into enemy's territory again. The fight's probably going to happen somewhere in Texas again. You're probably going to have the same judges that... Bro, the fact that none of those 3 judges gave you said that you won the fight, that's crazy, bro. That should let you know right there that you're in a lose-lose situation. The PBC is not going to let you win unless you get a knockout because of what you did to Gervonta Tank Davis, bro. Boxing is a business. Boxing is the most crooked sport in the world. There's a reason why boxing fell off. So you guys think boxing just fell off because Mike Tyson retired? No. Boxing fell off because people know that boxing is corrupt, bro. It's all about money. So that's my thoughts on this, man. Shout out to Lamont Roach Jr. Just learn, bro. Learn from the mistakes that you made in this fight and just don't make them again, bro. With that being said, man, it's your boy Wavy, StayWavyTV. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, and let me know who you guys think won this fight in the comment section. It's your boy Wavy. I'm out.
Stay wavy, signing out. Ride the tide, no doubt. From the rooftop glow to the neon cloud. You tapped in, so I gotta say love. Like, subscribe, keep the motion above. Until the next wave, we out. Peace.